Your newfound energy comes from the fact that you have drastically slowed down your seed production through repeated efforts on numerous semen retention streaks. In most human males, the sexual organs are working at 100% of their capacity in order to replace lost sperm cells. And these new cells won't even get the chance to mature before they are ejected within days of first formation. The average male today is essentially carrying around a sack of weak, immature, malnourished sperm cells. Before they even have a chance to grow, they are shot out into the world and disposed of immediately. And so his testes never get a chance to rest. They are constantly active and never enter the dormant state. They simply pull more and more nutrients from the bloodstream in an endless attempt to manufacture fresh, healthy sperm cells. This is an exhausting process for the entire body and affects one's ability to be productive in day-to-day life. A significant proportion of the available life force is being used up in the tremendous task of taking nutrition from the rest of the body and transforming it into sperm cells. After many years or even decades of operating in this manner, it is going to take more than a mere 30 days of retention to slow down and reverse this out-of-control mechanism. The glands have learned that this particular male is very likely to immediately release whatever sperm has been recently manufactured, and so at first, they do not slow down production. They keep churning out more sperm cells at a high rate, even though the person has stopped releasing at such a rate. This is why the new retainer can experience frequent nocturnal emissions during the initial months of their first big streak. The glands cannot afford to slow down production until they are absolutely sure that the person will not return to abusing the ejaculatory system by releasing whenever he feels like it. It can take several retention cycles or a single very long cycle before production begins to slow down, and this portion of the body's life force is freed up to work elsewhere. This is why one should not focus so much on the length of their current streak, but rather focus on the internal changes that have been made over the course of their retention efforts. As the months pass, the glands are slowly reassured that there will not be any more irresponsible sporadic releases. They are able to reduce the production rate. The only question is, how long will this take for each individual? How long will it take until the body trusts that it can safely redirect the life force to other areas such as the brain, the muscles, the hair, the eyes, the skin, and to countless other physical, mental, and spiritual functions? The life force expresses itself within the physical vessel in many ways. For some, this means tremendous spiritual advancement. An entire world becomes visible to them that was previously hidden from view. For those concerned with strength and physique, they notice that their numbers take a sudden leap without explanation. Of course, the explanation is that the muscles are now able to work at their proper capacity for the first time ever. Others notice that their skin issues and hair begin to improve as they are now getting the nourishment they have been starved of for years. However it manifests, nearly everyone notices that they are now more attractive to all those around them. The feminine seems to take a particularly keen interest, almost as if she can sense that the life force has been freed and now flows within you. It is an energy that everyone wants to be a part of. The list of benefits that come with freeing the life force is endless and has been covered extensively by many semen retention advocates. The point of this video is to reinforce that the changes come slowly over several cycles as the body starts to notice that the number of releases has been drastically reduced. This can be achieved through a very long retention streak or by consistent shorter streaks. The main factor is that the need for rapid sperm production has been reduced and the body can finally begin to heal itself. It's important to remember that the testes are glands, not ordinary organs. Unlike typical organs, glands are specialized to release a particular substance when the body requires it. Their secretion is controlled and can be triggered by the individual, but they will not release more fluid than necessary unless specifically told to. This stimulation can occur merely through sexual thoughts. Historically, this was never an issue. The glands remained mostly inactive, only activating when the time was right. Nature entrusted humanity with the responsibility of regulating this process, but in recent years, that trust has been betrayed. Man has exploited his ability to stimulate secretion at will, succumbing to the pleasure trap. As a result, the glands are now in a constant state of overactivity, disrupting the natural balance and affecting the energy of the entire organism. This is why it is important to realize early on in life just how special these glands are and how they should be respected. Lack of energy is the biggest reason for poor social interactions. Increasing the overall spare energy within the body has big implications on how we show up in day-to-day life. You can see this clearly in how free the average person becomes after a single beer or half a glass of wine. It is as if some other force or energy now takes the burden for them. They suddenly appear confident and full of energy. This is just an example of how a very slight chemical change completely changes the way a person is able to act around others. This is comparable to the chemical changes one undergoes on long-term semen retention. The effects are more subtle, of course, but are without the negative side effects and inevitable energy drop that comes with using alcohol for confidence. A person's social skills are hugely affected by how they feel inside themselves on that day. When one has high energy, it is very easy to be social and perform well in social situations. The words just seem to flow, nothing feels awkward, you don't seem to question what you just said. You don't mind people's eyes being on you, in fact you enjoy it. And maintaining individual eye contact feels very easy and natural. When one is depleted inside, it becomes extremely difficult to force oneself into social situations. One is fearful that they do not have the energy to express themselves properly. This inability to express one's true self because of a constant inner tiredness is frustrating and leads people to turn towards negative energy sources like alcohol and drugs. But of course, this energy does not last, and the person feels even worse when the effects have worn off. One then becomes even more reliant on these chemicals to give them their social energy, and an endless loop is created. We do not realize how much our internal energy supply affects every aspect of our life progress. It really is the most important piece of the puzzle. Imagine, for example, trying to go out and socialize when you are sick and full of a cold. It is nearly impossible. There is near zero motivation to do so. And even if you forced yourself to do so, you would have a terrible time and very poor interactions. Your brain and body are far too busy dealing with the chaotic state that the body is currently in. Chronic excessive seed loss is putting people into a constant, slightly ill state. They may not even know what it truly feels like, just to have the normal amount of energy that nature intended. This really is worth thinking about. Every human knows how good it feels when you overcome a cold or flu and begin to function properly again. Well, this is a good analogy for the feeling one has when they begin to emerge from the fog and discomfort of the PMO cycle. It is almost as if it was necessary to experience years of life in the lower state to truly appreciate what it feels like to come back out of it. The inner energy is everything, and it can be found again when one allows the glands to relax.